going to start this off, Miguel. So the title of it was Neurotalk, and looking at the neuroscience of emotional health. And I feel that the first question would be interesting to ask you is to let me know what does emotional health mean to you as a term? Because when you look online, there is not really any kind of consistent expression of what, or definition, should I say, of what emotional health is. So I'd love to know what you think.
Yeah, it's a good one, because I think it's the whole field of mental health has gone completely mainstream. Everybody's talking about mental health a lot more than a few years ago. Obviously, through the pandemic as well, that has catapulted mental health into another completely different dimension. But I feel that we're still not talking so much about emotions. And emotions come in a wide spectrum or a rainbow. So we're very used to hearing about eating the rainbow and eating a range of fibers for your microbiome and colors and so on. But or at least I check social media, and I don't see people talking about, especially negative emotions. There's a lot about positivity, but there's a lot of bullshit about positivity as well, a lot of toxic positivity. And just think about the positive things in life. Just think about the good things, just good vibes only, and all this kind of stuff. And for me, the key aspect of emotional health is that we have a range of different emotions that we should be able to feel without feeling that we are betraying the other emotions that we need to be feeling as well. So we can be feeling a range of emotions at the same time. Like I've had things that have happened to me as part of my lived experience that have made me feel a lot of grief and loss and anger. There were feelings that I was not so acquainted with before, and as part of that kind of like journey, my own personal journey of lived experience, which is very interesting, and I like to talk a little more about that kind of aspect of lived experience. I've come to the conclusion that emotional health is, for me, is about being able to experience and to express and to be content, not happy, because happy is positive, just accept and deal with, process a range of emotions that can be extremely negative, but they serve a purpose, because sometimes they give us a bit of a kick up the ass to do something. Sometimes they allow us to reflect on something that needs to be done or needs to change in our lives, like living an abusive relationship, or doing something about a toxic environment that we are working in, and so on, as well as elation and happiness and beauty and all of these things that human beings are so wonderfully able to feel. So it's about feeling empathy and compassion, which are not exactly the same thing, because empathy, obviously, I can feel empathetic about your pain, but compassion is almost like holding space for you without having to even tell you that I'm feeling empathy for you. I'm kind of like there for you. It's more active. And that level of being active in being there for you, whether I'm telling you or not, but just offering my help, we don't do it enough to ourselves. And I feel that from the years that I spent working with people in different contexts, more under the umbrella of mental health with a psychiatry team and a multidisciplinary team. It was a psychiatry-led team. And on my own, in my own practice as well, when I was doing nutrition and clinical work, I could see the same kind of things that then I've actually seen myself happening to me later, that all of those emotions that are trapped in the body from probably early age, we numb them because they're uncomfortable to feel, and we numb them with in my that 6 years that I spent working in mental health and addiction. those people that I was working with, they numbed them with drugs. So they went and had, you know, crystal meth or cocaine or whatever, just to numb it, or alcohol or benzos, you know, addicted to diazepam. Some people numb them with food. Myself, I numb my emotions with food for years, and then I felt guilty, and then I went on I'll do like a skinny diet now because I'm going out like next month and I need to lose 5 kilos, and then I felt something that was not quite right in my body, and I went to put on another 5 kilos, and I spent my life being skinny and then less skinny, skinny, less skinny, and quite bulimic in a way. I never quite purged. I actually had a disordered kind of a relationship with food for many, many years. So it's about expressing that, accepting that range of emotions, about compassion to yourself. It's about healthy relationships with yourself to start with, trusting yourself, loving yourself, which is not always easy. But if you don't love yourself, like I'm going to go on RuPaul now, if you don't love yourself, how the hell you're going to love anybody else? You know, you need to love yourself. And yeah, hugely about emotional expression. And it's not about doing a soppy post on Instagram saying, oh, I'm feeling sorry for myself, or, you know, I'm feeling happy or whatever. It's not about that kind of like external looking for validity of your emotions. It's about telling to yourself, I'm feeling this, I'm labeling this, which is very important as well. Have a label for what you're feeling, so it's not leaving you more confused than you started. And be happy with that emotion, whatever it is. Be content with that emotion because it serves a purpose. And the period that you spend feeling that emotion, we have developed our brains to be able to get meaning out of that. So that's sorry, long-winded answer to the question, but
you're right. Because something you said early on, I thought is really interesting, is if we were to recategorize emotions in so that we didn't call them positive and negative, it would make such a big difference.
Yeah,
and actually maybe what we should be doing is categorizing them into function as opposed to the positive and the negative, because as soon as you do that, that puts pressure on yourself, because you're suddenly thinking, you know, that this is a negative thing, and of course everybody thinks negative is not good for you, positive is good for you, and that's not always the case either. So it's more about the function of what the emotion is doing and why you've got it. So maybe it's got more to do with, for example, fight or flight as an emotion, which is a basic emotion that's required. Some people would say fear, for example, as a negative, but actually no, fear has got a role, and therefore we should be doing that. Yeah. Interesting, because I think the other aspect that you said I thought was really interesting is it's about the expression of emotions, the free expression of emotions, because well, you're kind of alluding to the fact that the suppression of the emotion is harmful. Is that your
absolutely
experience? Yeah,
it is my experience, and